Hey everybody! My name is Janis. Welcome to my channel, Me and the Mountains, and here we are. I always seem to get here just a little bit too late in the evening as the sun is going down and it starts to get so much colder. Well, I love hearing your comments here. So as I discuss many topics that come to my mind here when I'm relaxing in the mountains, and there goes the sun. Oh boy. If you don't know, when you're in the Rocky Mountains, I'm here at 9,000 feet. And when the sun goes down, it gets like immediately 20 degrees colder. So, oops. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here on our channel, Me and the Mountains. And tonight I want to talk about a very interesting, fascinating subject. So once I mention the subject, please leave comments. Here we go. Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry? What do you guys think of when you hear that? Well, what I remember is a long time ago when you would have ice cream, there would be, like, you might buy ice cream and it would have like chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry in it, but those were kind of the flavors. I'm not saying that there wasn't more than that way back then, but I just remember kind of those flavors. And then maybe like butter pecan came and things like that, or butter pecan, yes. But it was, chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry. And what made me think about that this evening is that sometimes in life, it can be easier and a little more fun when you have fewer choices. Sort of like the idea of what it's like living here in the mountains, where things are simple. And when things are simple, it just kind of relaxes the mind. It's kind of like, when something's really complicated and as things change, as the world gets modern and technical, and you kind of like want to pull your hair out, you kind of want to go back to just chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. So let me give you, I've got 5 things that to me relate to that topic. And I think the thing is remembering, the fewer choices that we have sometimes just make things simpler. So let me give you an example. I have a 1998 truck, and when I want to put on the air conditioner or the heater, there's just heat, cold, lights. And so many times, like, I'll rent a car and it'll be like, I'm like, how do I turn anything on? And, does it have a radio? Or I don't even know, and it's probably the same thing with like, stepping away from cars, like if you own a CD player. So this is number 2, like you find the artist you want, you put it in, you listen to that CD over and over, you hear the different tracks that artist thought would be fun for you to hear. And that's kind of nice. It kind of creates your own space. And I think creating your own space can be really healthy and make you happy. So yeah, leave in the comments if you're using a CD or you have a truck like mine that's really simple or one that's complicated. Another thing would be, this is interesting. I will say this is my number 3rd thing. So we're up here in the mountains. We are at 9,000 feet. We're up a forest road that is about 1.5 miles long, which in the winter, it's all ice and snow, depending on how the weather is. And it can be pretty much impossible to get up, So when you get up here, we've been up here about almost 2.5 weeks and we haven't left or gone to town or anything like that. So what happens is you start to run out of food. So let me give you one, for instance. Elizabeth and I both like to have toasts in the morning, and I like to put jelly on it. I usually put the kind of jelly that's like all fruit, so there's, it's really kind of good for you. But anyway, so now we've kind of run out of bread. So Elizabeth has to try to make it, or she can make it, or, we're experimenting with sourdough bread. So if you make sourdough bread, you have to start the, the sour thing. You can tell I'm not making it, but there's a little bit of trick to it because it doesn't use yeast. But anyway, we ran out of jelly, and so I had a little blueberries left and some oranges, and so Elizabeth took the oranges and blueberries and she made jelly with some brown sugar and just cooked it, and that was my jelly. And now we're out of blueberries, so now we just took some of the leftover oranges that are getting kind of old and mixed those up with some sugar and cooked it, and that's my jelly. So it's interesting as you run out of food like that you have in your storage. You're like, okay, I see some beans in there. I see, and things get really simple. And I'm not saying that you can't wait to go to town and, get everything that you could think that you might want to have to eat. But it's kind of it's a life that's simple. It's like, it's kind of cool. It's like when Elizabeth made the jelly, it's like, well, that's our own jelly that we made, or, and we're doing that more and more. Like we ran out of butter once here. And so she made butter, just out of like a vegan butter, and you're like, wow, like we're like the pioneers. Like we don't have any of this store-bought stuff and we're just making it ourselves. So sometimes, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, you have fewer things and you kind of expand your horizons because you just make do. Let's see. I think the last thing that I would say are favorite sweaters, or something that you love to wear. And I'm not saying you should wear the same thing every day, but, I think that kind of lines up with the sort of scarcity, but the few things that you have, you really enjoy. And, I love sweaters, and a lot of my sweaters, we get them from places that sell reused clothing. And what's cool about it is like these sweaters might be like, there's one other one I wear. I remember we got it from one of those stores and people were like, wow, cool sweater, and I was like, really? And it was like, because it was from like 1990 or something, it was just an old kind of sweater that people thought was cool. So anyway, those all things line up to sort of like the mountain living and the simple living, and fewer choices can sometimes just allow you to live more simply and at peace. Chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, simple. Although I really like butter pecan probably, or leave in the comments what you like. Leave any thoughts that you have. I love hearing from you guys. I think this channel is about sharing these conversations with each other and just being with each other. So I want to send a lot of love to you guys. Love and peace.